Good day. Good day. It's Mr. Varner. Hey, look, today we're going to deal with IXL S3. IXL S3. So hopefully you're ready to go to IXL S3. Join with me. All right, let's go. IXL S3, S3, S3. So if you haven't finished it, I'm going to help you. Now, at the very beginning, I always advise that you go to practice. So learn with an example, and this kind of helps you practice. So this is the problem that first populates. We want to go to learn with an example so you can, learn without losing any points. I know every time that you make a incorrect answer, you lose some points. I know some of you are really bothered by that. Sometimes you learn by making mistakes, but at any rate, look, if we look at this graph, all right, look at the graph. We can notice that on the y-axis, it goes up in increments or steps of 1. On the x-axis, it's same increments of 1. But the y and the x-axis don't necessarily have to have increments that are the very same. But this one does. And if you notice, right here is a point where the line for y and the line for x meets perfectly. That's a perfect connection. And if you look up here, here's another perfect connection right here. And I keep looking, that's not perfect, that's not perfect, that's not, it's kind of in between. Oh, here's another perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to determine the slope, all right? So what we've done here is we went up 1, we went up 2, we went up 3, all right? And then we went over a couple of spaces too. We went over 1, 2. And that gets us from this perfect space to this perfect space. So we went up 3 and we went over 2, okay? We went up 3 and we went over 2. So the fraction or the slope that we're going to have here is going to be 3 over 2. Now you may notice that's a positive 3. I could put a positive sign here, but I don't need to. So it went up 3, it went over 2. So the slope of the line that we have here is going to be 3 over 2. And let's check it. All right. So slope is changing y over changing x. And so we went here, and as you see, they have the same perfect lines. Let me see if I can match their lines up to our lines. Yep. They identified the same lines, and they went up 1, 2, 3, and over 2. So we have 3 over 2, and they did a little different in the way that they explained it, but they ended up with 3 over 2 as their answer, okay? 3 over 2 is their answer. The slope is 3 over 2, and that's just what we had. So let's go back now. That was something to learn from, and now this is something that will get you some points. And let me see. Right now I have 0 questions, 0 points. My SMART score out of 100 is 0. So look at this graph. What is the slope? Simplify your answer and write it as a proper fraction, improper fraction, or integer. Okay, so a proper fraction means that you know what? Let's not even deal with that for right now. Right now, we need to get the slope of this line. So I see to get the slope of this line, I'm going to start here. All right, so that's the starting point. And then I'll look, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and this seems to be another perfect line right here. And this seems to be another perfect line right here. Okay, so from here, we went up one space, two spaces. So that's 2. All right. So on our fraction, we're going to have 2 on the top. Okay. And let's say from here, we went over 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went over 4. Okay. And just to check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same spacing. Okay. But we went up 2, we went over 4. So I'm looking at 2, 4. Now, can I reduce 2, 4? Yes, I can reduce 2, 4 because 2 goes into the number 2 one time. And the number 2 goes into the number 4 twice. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have a pie. And the pie has 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I circle in 2 of the 4 spaces, that's number 1 and that's number 2, you would say, hey, you took away, you circled in, you darkened, you put lines on 1/2 of the pie. I put in darkened on 1/2 of the pie, right? Because 1/2 is dark and the other half is light. So 2/4 is the same as 1/2. Okay, so now let's see. I'm going to put it in as a fraction. Now I can put in 2/4, but the truth is I want to have it in its lowest form. So I'm going to put in 1/2. And let's see if 1/2 is the correct answer. Great job. Great job. So I'll give you a second one, okay? This one will go much faster. This one is going to go much faster, okay? Okay, so I'm here and I'm starting at, it looks like I'm about halfway through. It looks like I'm about halfway through. So they're trying to trick me. Instead of being directly on the line, that's really like 45. That's around 45. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for another spot that's about halfway on the line. So I see that there's another spot right here that's halfway on the line, okay? So I went up 1/2. So I went up 1, really. So I went up 1. And then I went over, let's see, I went up 1, went over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking at a fraction of 1/4. 1/4. Okay, so 1/4. It says now, what is the slope? Write your answer and write it as a proper fraction, improper fraction, or integer. So 1/4. You ready to pull the trigger? I am. Let's see if I have it correct or not. Fantastic. So that's how we solve and find the slope of a line. So I showed you how to do it when you're right on the line and when you're not right on the line. This one, let's look at this one. This one is interesting. It's interesting because it's not halfway. It's a little more than halfway. So you have to kind of find another spot that's a little more than halfway. So in this case, I would identify this point here, and it looks like right here is another point. So you can do the math from here, do the math, quote unquote, do the math, find out what that slope is. But that's the process that you're going to use, okay? That's the process that you're going to use to solve this problem, okay? So that takes care of that.